Hey everyone, we are exactly 10 days away from hope, but you may be seeing this later and it may be even closer. From Free to SOAR, our virtual strategic planning event, and I'm so excited about it. You can register at worldclasstraining.net/SOAR. Today, I have one of our guest speakers joining me to talk a little bit about what he's going to bring to the program. He's also going to talk to me a little bit about his background so that you will know that what you are getting is quality programming for the time that we will be spending together. Before I do that, let me just share with you all, it's 4 weeks again of targeted strategic planning, I should say, over 4 Sundays beginning November the 26th at 6 o'clock p.m. Then and it's going to run for about 90 minutes. Week 1 is about locking in, and all of these things are centered around the idea of the eagle. And so locking in and getting clear about our vision speaks to how eagles have an amazing sight, and their sight is stronger than I'm not even sure how many other birds, but they have amazing sight. And so what we want to do is we want to have amazing vision for where we're going in our lives. The next thing is week 2, which is it's shedding season. So I have joining me for that Dana Lariel Morales from the Happiness Bucket, who is going to talk to us about how to declutter our lives and how to get rid of things that are holding us back. Just like eagles have to go away and take off and shed their feathers and pluck their beaks, we have to shed certain things in our lives in order to get where we're trying to go. What will it cost us? And that's where our guest is going to be coming in a moment, because we have to think about what it's going to cost us from time, relationship, and financial standpoint in order to get where we're headed. And then finally is the storm survival kit. So when things happen, eagles tend to fly above the storms, and we're going to talk about some strategies that we can use to fly above the storms as we are growing and building our lives. So again, it's 4 weeks, and then we're going to close it with the release on December the 30th, which will be a kind of a party of sorts, a release party of sorts, where we will just commit to the things that we want to do. That will be in person. So again, that's going to be on December the 30th. Now, going back to what we're talking about today, I have an amazing guest joining me. He is the person who is going to be leading the conversation in week 3. What will it cost you? His name is Bill Brabant from V2R, Vision to Reality Financial Services. Bill has an amazing history. He's been a teacher, and now he is a financial leader. So, Bill, let me bring you on here. How are you today?
Awesome. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much for joining. Y'all, this is going to be an amazing time with Bill. We're going to talk for a moment just about his background, what got him into having this financial services industry, financial services company, I should say, and how he really likes to help families to be more financially solvent. So, Bill, we talked a little bit just before this, and you shared a little bit about your background. I want you to just tell the audience a little bit about kind of how you went from being a high school teacher. He was a high school teacher, y'all, for 10 years, to then transitioning into the financial services industry, and why it's important to you to help families to be financially solvent and to really take control of the things that it may cost them in an effort to have better lives. So welcome to the show first.
Thank you. Yeah, for me, it was, well, I was a high school, I started out as an earth science teacher in high school, and quickly changed to computer technology because people use computers. Computers were more needed than knowing about rocks in Florida where it's all sand. So it was a simple transition there. But then, I'm excited. I'm in my dream job as a teacher and college educated. So, I'm supposed to know things. And the total of my education when it came to money was simple. Go to work, collect
Yep.
paycheck, go home, spend paycheck. What else is there to know?
Exactly. What else? Right. Yep.
And I ended, and as a teacher, like everybody who comes into a job, you get the job and then you get all the benefits, and then all the financial people come in to sell us the stuff that we know that we need. And we know that we need it because everybody's told us, here, this is the thing to buy.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're the expert. The change
Yep.
is that the financial services industry is a sales industry.
Mm-hmm.
And each company has its own widget that they have to sell.
Right.
So obviously, no matter what your issue is, wherever you are, they're going to try and fix it with the thing that they have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what happened for me is I had everything at the time. Like I said, I was a high school teacher. I was newly married. I had a brand new house. I had 2 brand new cars. All of my cars worked fantastically. I tested them all a lot. Okay. So normal, everybody, I think,
You had all the things. Yes.
Yeah,
all the things. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
The retirement. I was doing great.
Yeah.
Having this short conversation with a guy that blew my mind, where he ended up sharing with me on a legal pad. He drew out a few things about how money worked. And I couldn't believe how simple it was. And I couldn't believe nobody had ever shared, all the financial experts, the half dozen that I had. Why didn't they ever teach me this stuff? I was shocked. I didn't even know the questions to ask, I realized. I didn't even know they were questions.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that was the thing that just blew my mind. And he ended up teaching me without charging me anything, how to get out of debt 20 years sooner, save $70,000 in interest.
Wow.
No extra money.
Fantastic. Right. I can't wait for you to share that. Yeah, exactly. I can't, because let me ask you this. So just share, what's one of the tips that he shared with you that was kind of like an aha for how money works?
So when I look at that, like the rule of 72, it's also known as the banker's rule, the foundation of how money grows or how money behaves over time. Had no idea what that meant. But the reality is it works in our life every single day in every area of finance. The question is, who's it working for? Is it working for you or somebody else?
Exactly.
And for me, at the time, it was all working for other people.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How insurances work.
Yeah. Oh.
Life insurance in particular is the most deceptive area of finance out there. It's unbelievably deceptive. But
why do you say that?
For instance, because of the practices that go behind it, here's an idea. When you think about life insurance, what's life insurance actually for? What's the purpose?
Die. It's death insurance.
To do what?
To take care of your family and your expenses, your final expenses when you die?
Yes.
Okay.
So if it's taking care of your family, what you're really doing, would you agree, is you're trying to replace your income, because your family needs your income to be able to do so their quality of life doesn't change.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's the goal, right?
Right. That's the goal. Right.
Okay. Now, if you die, and if we look at the definition of life insurance, if we go right to that, to create an immediate estate, which is a big pile of money, to create a big pile of money in case of premature death, in case you die too soon.
Right.
So by definition, if you die when you're old and gray, and you're supposed to, by definition, should you need life insurance?
I guess not.
No, because the goal is actually to live, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you want to live, if you want to be able to retire, what do you have to have?
Money.
Money.
Yep.
Okay. So in order to retire, you have to accumulate a big pile of money that is
Right.
going to pay your family, you and your family, whatever you need to survive.
Right.
And if you have a big pile of money and you die, what happens to that big pile of money?
It goes to your family.
Goes to your family. So if you have a big pile of money, do you need insurance?
No.
No. But the industry wants to make you believe that you need it for your whole life.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
It's understanding what's going on so that you can make that money work for you instead of them.
So that's so huge. You are so right about that. I have a girlfriend whose mom recently passed, and her mom owned a beauty shop, and her dad owned a plumbing business. And she said, they didn't have insurance. They just, they saved their money, and that paid for the funeral, and they had money and stuff afterwards. So yeah, you're right. And to me, it's the same thing, because I've had some conversations about the health insurance thing too. Because it's like, I pay to get my teeth cleaned, and I try to keep myself healthy. And so, if you take care of yourself, not that there may not be a big thing that comes up. And so, I know I've had some different thoughts recently about it as I'm maturing, but I've been like, hey, I pay $250 a year. I get my teeth cleaned twice a year because, I just pay into my dentist. And when I went to the doctor the last time, although he's gone up on it, but the last time I went, it was like $55 out of pocket. And so I'm like, okay, so why am I paying, whatever for health insurance? Why was I doing that all this time working? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know there was another way. There is another way.
Yes. And the ties into that is everybody's looking for the insurance product that has the least deductible.
Right.
Okay. That makes sense, especially if you don't have any money in savings.
Right.
Because, you don't have the money.
Right.
But if you handle your money properly, and one of the biggest challenges that comes up when you hear people talking about, I just can't seem to get ahead. I just can't seem to get ahead. I just can't seem to get ahead. Well, the number one factor behind that is they don't have an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
So every time something happens, because something always happens, they end up using the credit card as their emergency fund. So now they're going into debt and paying interest instead of earning interest. And there's a way to balance that.
Yes, there is. And I want you to share that when we meet in December. I think is your session. December the 10th, I think, is your session. Week 3, y'all. Whatever week 3 is. But you all have to participate in all of them, because that's so important. We have to understand how money works, how interest works, how credit cards work. I was just saying to myself the other day, I was like, okay, I'm about to pay this credit, the ones that I have at the beginning of the month, off, because I don't even want to, I'm done. And then I need to and then go from there, because I really have to decrease. It's fun and it sounds good. But I'll ask you this right quick. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what we're going to do in a few weeks. But so I did see something where the gentleman said, get rid of debit cards, just use credit cards. Because I don't even remember if I remember his reasoning for that, but he was saying, now he did say pay it off, but he said do not use debit cards. He does not even allow his sons to have them. He just uses credit cards and pays them. Oh, because he said that's how the country works. That's how the world works. It works on credit. So you need to be building your credit by using the cards. And debit cards just are basically things superfluous. So what's your thoughts on that?
There's a couple of things. Some people argue that, and I haven't looked at it recently, but there's more safety with a credit card and debit cards. I haven't looked at that to see if that's still true. But then people will talk about the rewards that you get, the money back on credit cards, which is great. But when you break all that down, and you go back to what's really going on. To me, everything's about what's behind the scenes.
Right.
We're all trying to get this better credit score.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who came up with credit score?
Who did? Is it the government?
The banks.
The banks. Okay.
Why did the banks come up with credit score?
So that they could determine who was credit worthy or who was safe for them to loan money.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's a way for them to know who's the safest, best bet for them to extend to.
Right.
So
exactly.
the only way for them to know about who's the best is to encourage everybody to get more debt so that they can see which people paid off the best.
Okay. You
See the challenges. So we're all excited about our country is excited about, oh, I want to get a better credit score, so let me get more debt, which in turn helps out the bank. It's a sales play.
Yeah, that's true. That's so true.
So is credit important? I'm not saying that credit's not important, because we want to go get a house, we want to go get a car, we want to do these things.
Right.
But at the same time, doing it in the best possible way so that it's working for you and not me.
Right.
And finding that balance.
That's true. That's so true. And there is a balance. Yeah. I'm excited because that's an area I'm growing in. I'm like, I really gotta get a handle on all these financial things and how to make it work so that when I do get even more seasoned, I'll be able to hold, be relaxed and settle into some things differently. So yeah, but I'm learning, and being in business has really taught me some different things about number one, really separating needs and wants. And then the other thing is learning how, even though things are promoted as the best thing for you financially, it may not be. And we have to really do a deep dive into our own and do our own research so that we know really what is the best thing for us financially, not what they're selling us as the best thing, but what really is the best thing to move us forward and to help us be comfortable as we grow and develop ourselves and try to build our lives day by day. So yes,
being very aware of where you're getting your information from.
Yes.
Things about the internet is fantastic. There is so much information out there. However, It's also the bathroom wall of the 21st century. Anybody can put whatever they want.
Whatever. Yes, that's true. That's true. Yep, that's true. You definitely have to control your, as my pastor says, your ear gate and your eye gate, because who is feeding you this information is very important. It's very important. So I'm going to transition a little bit, and I want you to kind of share just a little tidbit. So again, audience, Bill he loves to help families and people through a kind of a coaching mechanism on how you are going to build yourself financially. And then what we're talking about specifically in week 3 is what it's going to cost you. So thinking about whatever your goal is, whatever your vision is, how you determine what things you might restrict yourself from, or what things you might even need to invest in or to put money into so that you can grow. So share a little bit, Bill, with what you hope to bring to the audience when you join us for Free to Soar for that week.
Like, we're all trying to get somewhere.
Yes.
However, we are where we are. And we all have goals and dreams, whatever those are. Now, for some of us, maybe we're in New York trying to get to Florida. Some of us might be in Tennessee trying to get to California. Whatever it is, we are where we are.
Yes.
And then it's about putting together. If you're going to go to that destination, maybe you're deciding that you're going to take a car. Okay.
Right.
Well, the GPS needs to know where you're starting. Or if you're calling somebody, the first question they're going to, well, where are you?
Right. Yep.
Tell you how to get here. So it's about the same idea with your finances. Is it's about looking at where we are today and what are goals, dreams, and then it's about looking at all aspects of our finances because they all actually work together. Look, if we're in debt, then we're pouring money towards the debt, so that affects our ability to save.
Yep,
Okay?
exactly.
There's our tax situation also affects that stuff.
Right.
Where we're spending out money to other things affects
Yep.
all that. So it's about figuring out what are the true goals that you have so that you can start to laser focus on that and go, okay, if this is my real goal, then maybe I don't need this.
Right.
Maybe I don't even want this because I'm focused on this.
Exactly. Yep.
And just bringing all of that stuff together along with knowing what are the actual questions to ask.
Right.
Here's an example of that. If you're going to the car lot to buy a car, what are the two most common questions that people ask the salesman after you've decided on the car and it comes to the financing?
What are my payments going to be and how long? Maybe I don't know. How long am I going to be paying?
Better question. Most of the time, I hear, "What are the payments and what are the rate? What's the rate?"
Oh, interest rate.
And why are those two questions normally the most asked questions?
Because people want to know how much is going to come out of their account every month, how much they're going to be paying every month, and now the interest rate, I'm not sure because I want to know how long I'm going to be paying this thing. So why? I mean, you want to know the interest rate because I guess that gives you some insight into what your credit is. Because if it's a higher rate, your credit is going to be not as good. And you may want to know what you're paying over the life of the loan based on the interest rate.
All accurate. Yep.
Okay. So what's the answer that's in your head? Because I'm not hitting it.
And that's fine. You're actually ahead of the curve.
Okay.
When you're asking about time. So congratulations. Okay. I'm excited about that.
Okay.
But typically people are asking what's the rate and what's the payment because those are the two things that are advertised all of the time. And if you look at interest rate and payment, most people don't realize there's multiple ways to figure rate. Like there's a number, but they can do the math differently. So if you're focused on rate and payment, that can change the total cost. The real question is time that you asked. And the second question is, what is the total cost after it's paid off? Those are the most important questions. Then you can compare.
That's
the
true.
other two you can do some crazy math with and adjust things.
I didn't know that. So even if the interest rate is a certain amount, you can still adjust.
There's multiple ways. Yep.
Interesting. Okay. I'm curious to find out what that is. I don't know how you're gonna say that for sharing.
There's a lot of things that go into that, but it comes down to, like I said, knowing the questions to ask so that you can actually compare. And if you know total cost is total cost. Nobody buys anything with a rate or a payment. They buy it with.
That's true. Very true. Yes, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah. Very good information. So Bill, when we meet, we want to definitely know how to think differently about like what you're just sharing and other things that we have to really consider as we're making large and small purchases in life. Like I was watching Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, and he was saying we just really have to double down on crap that we just don't need, and I thought yesterday I went and bought a cup of coffee. I was out in a business meeting and I bought this coffee and it was like $5, and I thought about it after. I'm like, and it wasn't even that great, and I'm thinking I did not need this cup, and it sounds small, but when you're doing that, compounding that day or after day after day, I was like, that $5 over 30 days, that's $150. If I was one who did that on a regular basis, but we may not be thinking about that. And so we have to really start thinking about too, to get to that bigger thing, what might it cost us in these little things that we're not even considering? We're just, dribbling away at things that we shouldn't be dribbling away at, and we need to keep it on the right side of our balance sheet. So
a lot of times I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
A lot of times I've had, like, I'll give a lot of my clients a challenge. I go, okay, for the next 30 days or for the next 3 months, I will challenge them to keep track of every single penny that they spend.
Yeah.
Okay? What is it that you're spending?
Right.
Not because I'm going to tell you what you can and can't buy,
right,
but so that you know exactly what it is, and we can look at it and then go, okay, are you happy with this or not? We had one guy that we were talking to, and he did the challenge, and he's like, one of the things that blew my mind was the fact that, I go every day, my coworkers to lunch, and we all grab a coffee and sit there and chat. He goes, I don't even like coffee, but I want to fit in, so I get coffee. And he looked at the number, the cost of what that was for the month, and it blew his mind. He's like, I don't need coffee. I don't need to fit in.
Exactly. And I kind of was guilted into it because we were there in the place, and I felt like, well, I need to patronize, so I'm going to just buy this coffee. And then I'm like, this wasn't even good. I didn't have to do that, Yep. So yes, I'm with your friend.
It's being aware.
Right. It's being aware. It's heightened awareness, of what we need and don't need, and really taking hold of it helps us take control of our lives, really. If we're really even figuring out, like for me, as a business owner, even figuring out when I'm traveling, if I'm going to a networking event, like how you and I met, or going to something that's promoting, getting the word out, I really am starting to think differently about, okay, is this the best use of my time and my gas? Like, is it like,
Absolutely.
Because we don't even think about the dribbling away of gas. Like, if I'm spending my time and my gas going here, and it's really not value added, and not everything is going to have an immediate return, but it has to be something where I'm better for the spend. And if I'm not, then maybe I can miss it, and it's okay. It's all right. Yep. Absolutely.
Once we're aware, once we know the questions to ask, then you can start figuring out where you want it. If you know your goals, you know where you're at.
Right.
Bring those things together. It clears things up for us, where we go, oh, yeah, I don't need that because I'm focused. I want to get there. And now I know how. Because that's the other thing. If you know how to get there, most of us, at least before, when I was a teacher, I had all of these goals and dreams because I had just graduated from college. I'm going to conquer the world. Then you get into the job and start realizing that everything's closing in on you because we don't have the options. And I really, I don't even know the questions to ask. So,
right.
Okay,
yep. That's true.
I'm getting by.
No, that's so true. And we're already almost at 30 minutes. This went so quickly, but I do have to share this right quick. I was at a school yesterday talking about doing business with at the school, and one of the deans came in, and she's asking me about what I'm doing. And so she said, I always want to know about what goes on out in the world. And I thought about this later, and I'm thinking as a teacher, you're supposed to help people to be ready to get into the world, but it's also a bubble, so you don't even really have a real grasp on what life is actually like. It's all theoretical on your end. So it was almost kind of scary. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing when it comes to all of these students going to college to get a business degree. I've talked to so many freshmen where they go into school. I'm getting a business degree because I can't wait to have my own business, XYZ. You talk to them 2 years later, after learning from somebody who has a job, and they're all excited about, I can't wait to graduate and go work for ABC.
Right.
They totally miss. And it's so sad to me because it's subtle,
Yep.
but it's massive.
It is. That's so true. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all, Bill, thank you for this time. I am so looking forward to our conversation. Audience, if you have not registered, please make sure to register for for Free to Soar at worldclasstraining.net/SOAR. As you can see, this is just 1 week, but Bill is such a dynamic speaker. He's so thought-provoking, and he is going to really help us to think differently about how we're spending our lives so that we can take ourselves to the next level. So, Bill, thank you for your time. I look forward to this in a few weeks. Yes, this is going to be shared out, and you share it to your people as well, so that they know to participate in this amazing opportunity to plan and be ready to enter 24 Free to Soar. So stay right there for a moment. I'm going to close it out, and then I'm going to be back to you when I wrap up. So stay right there. Okay. I'm going to take you out. Okay. All right, everyone. That was amazing. Please make sure to register. You know, we have, again, an amazing 4 weeks that are coming. I'm going to just put that up here again. Week 1 is locking in. Week 2, it's shedding season. Week 3, what will it cost you? And week 4 is the storm survival kit. It is going to be life-changing. So make sure that you do not miss it. It is time and it is money well spent. Well spent. So I look forward to seeing you all then. Until then, remember, when you are better, we are absolutely better. Take care.